in the interest of me trying to vlog a lot more in terms of in response to the questions people ask me, etc., I wanted to discuss something which happened to me very recently. A lot of you may have seen a picture of me on Instagram outside the Microsoft office, and a lot of people have asked me what's that about, and this is actually a vlog explaining that whole scenario and how that came about. It's very interesting because it ties into a lot of the things that people have been asking me. A lot of people have been asking me, typically, especially with the context of some of my latest videos, what should I do when I finish school? I have no idea as to what options are available to me or what's the best route for me to take. I don't like what I'm doing at the moment. So people have been asking me so many questions and I can't answer all of them. And to be honest, I can't give one direct answer to every single one of them. But what I can do, and I think I'm going to try and do in this vlog, is I can go for experiences and try and give you a lot of options based on my experience. So something happened to me very interesting recently which ties into it. What happened recently was that I want to provide a little bit of context actually. My little cousin came up to me and he said to me that, "Oh Sully, I'm not sure what I want to do when I finish school." And I was like to him, "Well, why don't you explore your options? You can volunteer, there's intern, there's so many things available to you." So he went away and he came back to me about 2 weeks later and he said to me, "Sully, I've discovered what I want to do." And I said, "What's that?" He said to me he wants to do an apprenticeship. And for those of you who are not familiar with what an apprenticeship is, the apprenticeship basically involves get a qualification while you're working within the role. So it's called vocational education course. And to be honest, I was quite hypocritical at this point, because I was like to him, "Are you sure about apprenticeships?" Because traditionally people view apprenticeships as they only work in fields for like construction or like plumbing, manual labour. They don't cover a vast range of subjects, or they won't get you a job in a top company to an extent. So I kind of had that view to it, and I was like, "Are you sure about an apprenticeship?" And he was like, "No, I've looked into it, it's really cool." And I was like, okay, that's cool. And what's really interesting is at this point, I was approached by a company called City and Guilds, who actually provide vocational educational courses for people. They provide apprenticeships for companies within leading companies, apprenticeships for people within leading companies. And they said to me, "We're doing a campaign called Open Doors Campaign. Would you like to get involved?" And the campaign basically entails exploring options that are available to people outside of university. And I thought, I guess this sounds like an interesting thing, especially when in my work, I always say this, I will not let an exam result decide my fate. I'll say, we all have different thought processes, experiences and genes. So why is a class full of individuals tested by the same means? You know what I mean? I'm always advocate that practical application works better for some people, theory application works better for some people. There is not one route to success, and there are other options. And I thought, you know what, rather than being hypocritical, let me look into this. I'm very reluctant to get involved with just anything. So this was kind of a big step for me to understand what's going on, just so I could share it with him and with other people. So they actually took me, surprisingly, they took me to the Microsoft office, which ties into the picture. But Microsoft is also one of the world's leading companies in software, meaning that I was thinking, how does this tie into apprenticeships? I thought we were going to go to, like, you know, something which was manual labor orientated. So we went to Microsoft office and we took a day around and we looked at the office. The video will be on the City and Guilds channel, so you can kind of look at it in more depth. But I went with 2 students who were into IT and we looked at the options available to them as apprentices studying IT, and we spoke to a couple of apprentices. We spoke to Dominic, who's kind of head of the apprenticeship program. And what was really interesting about that was he said that about 60% of the managers, etc., I can't remember the exact figure, actually started out at apprenticeship level, meaning that you can actually excel within the company. Now, the module makes a lot of sense when you think about it in theory, because you're working on the job while you're gaining the qualification. So you're actually learning the necessary skills, practically applying them, and getting the educational qualification which some people value so much. So in that respect, I was like, this actually makes a lot of sense. There's opportunities for career progression, and it was really interesting. So when I looked back at it, I went back to my cousin and I said to him, if this is what you want to take, it seems like a viable option, and I just want to open it up to everybody. Not saying that it's the ultimate way for everybody, but I can say, as someone who is an advocate of exploring different options, especially education, when it comes to academia and education, this is definitely something which you can kind of look into. And not just the students or children or young people that watch my channel, I'm talking about the parents as well, because like me, a lot of them have that mentality that taking an apprenticeship is kind of a lesser viewed form of education. But if you can get to a company like Microsoft and excel to the top of the ranks with something like an apprenticeship, then it definitely is an option and does provide an opportunity. I hope that does clarify a lot of issues for guys. So next time you do message me, I have done my part in sharing my knowledge, and I actually went through the process and experience of finding out just so I could share it with you guys. And if you are interested in further, I'll put a link in the description, but there's actually going to be a skills show in Birmingham on the 14th to the 16th of November, whereby it gives people the opportunity to try out lots of different skills and not see which ones benefit them, but also learn the different array of skills and different opportunities that are available for you. So if you are around and you want to attend, look into the apprenticeships a bit more, take a look into that. And hopefully that was a useful video, hopefully that was a good vlog. Apart from that, Sully breaks, watch out for my next spoken word video. Peace.